Not surprisingly, most of the early construction in Juneau took place downtown near the mill and the mine. But as more people chose Juneau for their home and the roads expanded, construction took place further out the road. The Shrine of Saint Therese was constructed 23 miles out the road. While many of those early buildings in downtown Juneau were built for an earlier, more hectic and more hedonistic lifestyle, this small chapel located on the shores of Lynn Canal is better suited toward quiet contemplation and meditation. The shrine was built in the mid-1930s to honor Saint Therese, the patroness of the Alaska Catholic Mission. Today it serves as an integral part of the religious history and heritage of Alaska, as well as serving as one of Juneau's quiet attractions.
Saint Therese was a French woman, died at age 24 around the turn of this century, lived all of her life in a little French town in Normandy, Lisieux, was a Carmelite, which meant she was a cloistered sister for the last 10 years of her life. Well, not 10 years, about 8 years of her life. She went in at age 16. But from her little convent had such a deep spirituality and such a broad perspective of life and the mission of Christianity, the mission of the church, that her writings within 10 years of her death marked her as a woman of extraordinary vision and depth. And she was canonized a saint in the 1920s, became the patroness of the state of Alaska, or the then territory of Alaska, and the patroness of the Diocese of Juneau, largely through the efforts of the first bishop of Alaska, Bishop Cremont, who is buried at the shrine. He was himself from France and had a great devotion to Saint Therese, and was a personal friend of some of her sisters who outlived her. And so it was his love for her, his devotion to her, and her popularity as a saint in the Catholic Church that has left its mark on the world and on our part of the world.
A simple Normandy-style chapel is the shrine Bishop Cremont had dedicated to Saint Therese. It's located in the center of a small island and was constructed of stones from the nearby beach. A statue of Saint Therese stands near the chapel entrance. Surrounding the shrine are the 14 stations of the cross, done in the Catholic tradition, that show Christ's journey to his death. A short causeway connects Shrine Island to the mainland, where the other buildings of the shrine facility are located. A two-story log building dominates the others in size and was the original building constructed. It has sleeping accommodations for 20 people, a kitchen, and a large meeting room. It serves as a retreat and meeting facility.
We have weekend retreats. It's open. Other facilities, other religions use the Episcopalians have used it. The Lutherans, the Methodists, other groups, religious groups have used the shrine. Some civic groups, some social assistance groups, the AA have their retreat out there also. So it provides a place here in Southeast Alaska, provides a facility for people to go and enter into themselves, enter into nature, and enter into the Creator.
Bishop Cremont was in his 70s and 80s when the shrine was being constructed. He's remembered as a quiet and gentle man, small in stature with lots of energy. But the vision of the shrine to Saint Therese was not his alone. Father Levasseur, a Jesuit priest, realized the value the shrine could have as a retreat house. Levasseur spearheaded the fundraising efforts and saw to the day-to-day details of the construction project.
It was done a lot on volunteer help. The original tract of land was gotten by Father Levasseur more like a land permit use, and the lodge was begun. And I believe in talking with people, it was a man by the name of Henry Myers who spearheaded the log construction. A lot of the logs came out of the Eagle River Herbert Glacier areas, and the construction was started around late 1931-32. Originally, I believe that the chapel was to be done with logs, but then, as far as I can tell, a gentleman came up, Doc Holden came up from Idaho, and he was a mason and had the skills of putting together, using the rock and the mortar, and that I think is why the chapel ended up being made of the material it was. But those two men, talents, I think, spearheaded Mr. Myers, who you know, headed the log construction, and Doc Holden, who did the mason work.
I volunteered so I could, you know, have a place to stay. At the time we had several fellows that came through there, and I'd go up to Father Levaster's and, you know, to see if there's any work or whatever they could do, and he'd have them come out the shrine, and we stayed in what we call a master's retreat house, and it was still a part of the Depression, and so we were just glad to get something to eat and make our way and place some shelter. And some fellas, they came from all different parts of the country, and just unbelievable, just like it was meant to be. It's a real part of my life that I feel good about, you know. It was all for the betterment for anybody, the whole community, if they find that they can go out there and take a restful walk or like that, and that you feel, no matter how small a part, that you were a part of it.
The quiet solitude that those who worked on the shrine found is still one of the attractions of the shrine today. Although popular as a retreat site, the shrine is a financial burden to the Diocese of Juneau. The diocese created a committee to promote the shrine's facilities on a year-round basis and to develop ways of relieving the financial burdens while continuing the goals of the shrine's founders.
One of the things that the Shrine Committee is attempting to do is to develop sources of income for the shrine so that the shrine will become more independent, an independent entity within the diocese, much the way all of our parishes are in their basic day-to-day operation. Most of our parishes are able to get along on their own.
Regardless of what may be in the future for the Shrine of Saint Therese, Bishop Cremont and Father Levasseur found a unique place for their work to continue.
The shrine is certainly a beautiful location, but where in southeast Alaska isn't there a beautiful location? The whole of the land we live in just speaks of the Creator and speaks of God's presence. So how does the shrine fit into, in a sense, a land that is sacred and close to God? And I was thinking, well, maybe it is the fact that this particular place has been purposefully set aside as a location where people can come, find solitude, find silence, find beauty, and find a time and a place for prayer. I'm sure that was in the heart and mind of Bishop Cremont and all of the other pioneers who began the shrine's development in the 1930s. And it remains our hope and our purpose today